It's Harley here on Big Deeds. All right, guys. So I got some good stuff for you today. We are on the channel that's all about doing the most deeds, improving your life, biohacking your mind, your body, and your soul. All right, guys. We having a good day today. I'm about to have a delicious snack here. So you're going to see me consume one of my favorite treats. I like to call a Klondike bar. So this is a full thing of cream cheese, and it is so good. I love it. So as you can probably tell, me being a big fan of the ketogenic diet, I consume a lot of fat. This here is a block of fat. It looks like a lot of cream cheese has no carbohydrates. This has 2 carbohydrates per serving. But it says 8 servings per container. Each serving has 90 calories. So let's see. Each serving is 1 ounce. Serving size is 1 ounce. So this is 8 ounces of cream cheese. So that's 28 grams per serving. So 28 times 8 would be the total number of grams. 2 tablespoons of cream cheese is 1 serving. So this is 16 tablespoons. But I love it. It's like a dessert. It's like I call it my Klondike bar. I love it. Each serving has 9 grams of fat, 30 milligrams of cholesterol, 95 milligrams of sodium, and 2 grams of protein for each serving. So you got to multiply that by 8 to get the total. And I love these things. They're great. I just gave you a little nutritional facts breakdown of this. I've eaten many of these before. I actually ate almost 2 of them one time when we were going on the retreat. Because you know me, I love fat. And I don't discriminate with fat. I love all types of fat. I love polyunsaturated fat. I love monounsaturated fat. And boy, do I love my saturated fat. Ooh, smells good. Very good. Delicious. So today, while I'm eating this cream cheese, I will want to talk to you guys about some things that you might be thinking about. Namely, cholesterol, saturated fat, and different types of cholesterol. We'll talk about LDL cholesterol. We'll talk about HDL cholesterol. We'll talk about light and fluffy LDL. We'll talk about small and dense LDL. We will talk about triglycerides. Sorry, I know I'm talking with my mouth full, but in order to keep the video shorter, I'm gonna have to do that. What else? Ooh, it's so good. See, my Klondike bar. So, let's get right down to it. Over the years of research on saturated fat and dietary fat, there have been a lot of hypotheses out there, right? There have been people who say, oh, saturated fat is bad. There's been people who say cholesterol is bad. There's people who say, over the years, that LDL cholesterol is bad. There's people who say that eating a lot of fat in your diet will increase your risk of cardiovascular disease. There's been people who say eating a lot of saturated fat in particular will increase your chances of getting cardiovascular disease. Those are wrong. The new research has debunked this. Let me get my research out. Got research here. We're talking, when I all my stuff that I get originates from articles, scientific studies. So cholesterol is needed in the body. Cholesterol serves a very important purpose. Cholesterol is what keeps your cell walls very flexible. So it is very important in the brain. Fat itself is important in the brain. Cholesterol, there's a reason why there's cholesterol circulating throughout your blood. It's needed in the cell membranes. All right, guys. Let's get right to it. I just want to say, you can live for a very long time without carbohydrates. You don't need any carbohydrates in your system. You don't need protein for a very long time because you have stored protein in your muscles. Fat, though, is very important. Without fat, you cannot synthesize a lot of hormones that you have, and also to maintain your brain. Also, eat protein because you want to maintain your muscles. You don't want your muscles to break down. I mean, over a long period of time, if you don't eat any protein, then your muscles break down. So keep protein in your diet. Not carbs, though. Keep carbs minimal. Just incidental carbs. You know, like, for example, the incidental carbs I get from eating this cream cheese, 2 grams per serving. So I guess, wow, I'm getting 16 grams of carbs from this. The keto diet is at least 75% fat. It is about 20% protein and 5% or less of carbohydrates. There's different types of ketogenic diets. There's the most strictest, highest fat is for ketogenic diet is for the folks with epilepsy, right? So, the reason why the highest fat diet is for the folks with epilepsy is because they need that, because it stimulates a lot of ketones, right? Oh, almost done. So, let's get to it. I told you I'll talk about different types of cholesterol. So, I have here a article from Healthline. I love getting articles from Healthline. They are very informative. They have a lot of information that you need. So the article that I am looking at is named. The name of it is "Bad Cholesterol May Have a Bad Rap." I will link it in the description. This article from Healthline has links to scientific studies. That's where it gets its information. Let's see. Talks about challenging the cholesterol hypothesis. Talks about how the cholesterol hypothesis is misfounded. Go to the study that I was talking about. It talks about how LDL used to be believed to be the bad cholesterol. Here we go. And here we get down to the nitty-gritty with the science. New research challenges the cholesterol hypothesis. Research published this week. This article is from back in 2016. Research published this week in the British medical journal, BMJ, challenges the cholesterol hypothesis. So it's asking for medical professionals or health professionals to change health guidelines because they've been found in old science. So the research team in this study, comprised of experts from seven different countries, evaluated data collected from 19 studies on a total of 65,094 older adults. The team was seeking to determine if LDL cholesterol is associated with death in the older adults. According to the cholesterol hypothesis, it should directly relate. According to the study that I'm talking about, it does not. Researchers say almost 80% of participants in the studies who had high LDL cholesterol did not die because of their cholesterol level. Now that should raise an eyebrow, because cardiovascular disease is the highest type of death, disease-caused death in America. So in a population, you would think that if you had high LDL cholesterol, then you would be likely to die because of that, if that's what caused cardiovascular disease. And cardiovascular disease is responsible for most of the deaths in modern day populations in the West. On the other hand, researchers discovered that people with low levels of LDL cholesterol had the highest rates of death related to cardiovascular disease, which cardiovascular disease, as I said, is the leading cause of death for both men and women in the United States. This is a direct quote from the researchers. These findings provide paradoxical contradiction to the cholesterol hypothesis. Researchers wrote, the cholesterol hypothesis predicts that LDL cholesterol will be associated with increased all-cause and cardiovascular disease mortality. Overall, the researchers, 4 of whom have published books criticizing the cholesterol hypothesis, say the benefits from statin treatment have been exaggerated. Statin, a lot of people these days who understand the new research coming out talk about how statins are not a good thing. Almost done here with this cream cheese vibe. What researchers are learning is that cholesterol may not be the direct indicator of heart disease, and total cholesterol, the accumulation of 3 types of fat in the blood, could be a useless metric. Paying attention to triglycerides, however, might be the best number to monitor regarding heart health. I've heard people say that triglycerides divided by HDL is the best marker for cardiovascular health, meaning the higher the value, the worse off you are. You want higher amounts of HDL as compared to your total triglycerides. And I got that from 2 keto dudes. Shout out 2 keto dudes. Carl and Richard. Love you guys. You guys are awesome. Go to their ketogenic forums. Just type in 2 keto dudes in your podcast app or Google. You'll find a lot of good stuff there. And a lot of information about cholesterol. Almost done with this. So let's see. Lustig is an outspoken critic of the processed food industry. He is one of those people, while he was not involved in the most recent BMJ research, he said it proves that the research that in BMJ, it proves that LDL cholesterol doesn't matter in the equation. So they talk about the history of the cholesterol hypothesis here, which I can go into in another video. So basically, let's see. While dietary fat does raise LDL cholesterol, there are 2 different types of LDL cholesterol. One type is known as large buoyant LDL, and it is unrelated to heart disease, while the small, dense LDL cholesterol is the true atherogenic particle. So the large buoyant LDL, that's what I was talking before as the large fluffy LDL. Large buoyant, large fluffy. So we're talking about two different types of LDL. One's bad, one's good. So total LDL is not a good marker of cardiovascular health, whereas small dense, a high number of small dense particles would be a bad thing, and a high number of light and fluffy or large and buoyant particles is not bad. So it's unrelated. Now, carbohydrates, not fats, raise the small, dense LDL cholesterol. Another byproduct of carbohydrates, sugar specifically, are triglycerides which correlate better and predict heart disease, Ludwig said. So basically, carbohydrates, not fats, raise the small, dense LDL cholesterol. Sugars, not fats, raise small, dense LDL cholesterol. So sugar, carbohydrates. All carbohydrates breaks down to sugars. Carbohydrates is the thing that raises the bad type of LDL. LDL as a whole is not a bad thing. It's only the small dense. So hopefully that makes sense. I can always do more videos to help to make this better. I hope this newer research was able to help you. I hope this helps to debunk the cholesterol myth. I hope you guys are having a good day. Hope you guys are enjoying the good vibes. Hope you guys are spreading the good vibes. I hope you guys like and subscribe. That's it. I crushed the whole thing. Oh well, a little bit scared. So I hope I'm not being rude by eating like this, but it is what it is. I have to finish the whole thing. This is a challenge. I challenge myself, and I take challenges very serious. One last thing. Oh, I'm not going to do that. I almost did it, but I'm not going to do that. I know my beautiful wife, she told me that's rude. Don't lick your fingers. Oh, it's so tempting. I'm a zero waste guy. I don't like to let anything go to waste. But one last thing is that imagine you realized there was a problem in your neighborhood because houses were burning down, and maybe not in your neighborhood, but maybe in your town or your state or your country. And you're saying that, I noticed that every time there's a house that's burning down, firemen show up. Shout out to firemen. Thank you for your service. So I noticed the firemen show up. So there is a correlation between fires and firemen showing up at a house. So what if we just stop the firemen from showing up at the house? Maybe that would stop the fires. You notice the ridiculousness of this, because that shows a correlation that is not causation. So there are a lot of correlations out there that are not causation. So a lot of these large epidemiologic studies are showing correlation, but are not able to show causation, which can only really be shown in the best way that we can study it by the gold standard of study, which is, a placebo-controlled clinical trial that is double-blinded, placebo-controlled. It's a very complicated, very expensive type of clinical trial to run. And a lot of these large epidemiological studies do not show causation. So this is one epidemiological study that actually kind of pushed back against other ones that were not able to show the causation, but were able to show correlation. But lack of correlation proves lack of causation. If there is no correlation, then there is no causation. So this kind of debunked the cholesterol hypothesis. And there's a lot of other research out there that goes along with what I'm saying. So cholesterol in the body can be seen as like the fireman. Fireman. Shout out Lil Wayne. Fireman. All right, so you have some inflammation in your arteries, and cholesterol goes there to try to help to repair the damage, or at least try to mitigate the damage caused by the inflammation, the atherosclerosis. It tries to just get there and tries to mitigate the damage, the problem. So people are noticing, or over time in history, when they were developing the cholesterol hypothesis, people were noticing that it seemed that cholesterol was always present there while whenever there is atherosclerosis. So they thought that they saw it was correlated, and they thought it was caused by the cholesterol, but that's not the case. The cholesterol is there like the fireman to go save the day. That's all for this video. I love you guys, and I really like you guys a lot. Subscribe for good vibes. Peace.